Hello, comrades. It's Kulz, Clan War Strategist, and I would like to take an opportunity to talk the numbers on four and a half key subject areas pertaining to the recent release of the CC12 update from Jungle Heat, as at least specific to Clan Wars, because I think that that's important. And so, what I'd like to talk about is namely walls. I'd like to talk about bombs. I'd like to talk about Vortex, Colossus, and then the kind of half bit, snid bit are the oil rigs and the gold mines. I think those are at least worthy of merit to mention. So let's talk about walls. Let me just pull up rating here. I'll go to Block just because I know that he's got the particular set of walls that I'd like to hone in on. Block, obviously, we faced him before in Clan Wars. He's got level 12 walls. They're 8,500. And if Block were to make a conscious decision, which he has not yet found himself in that predicament to upgrade from 12 to 13, his walls will go from 8,500 to 9,000. And I make mention, just based off of first grade math, that that's really not a lot. I mean, he's only going to increase his walls by 500. And let me contrast that with my crappy walls. I have at least one that's level 10, which is embarrassing enough as it is with my CC12, but I want to illustrate something with three letters. It's called ROI. If you know what ROI is, it's return on investment. If I were to make a conscious decision, I would increase mine by 1,500. Block would only increase his by 500. Now, why is that significant? Well, it's pretty simple. I've done the math for you. Let me pull it up. Suppose I upgrade my bombs. Let's pause for a second before I get too far into the weeds. Here are my bombs, which, mind you, they're not max level, because if they were, this would be entirely full. They're going to do 86 damage, and then you're going to take the damage and multiply it by 40 against walls, and you're going to come up with this number. 86 versus walls equals 3,440. Now, what that does not take into consideration, though, which I'll get into in a second, is a very particular monument that I have maxed out, which increases bomber damage to walls. Base damage, mind you, by 10. So when you see 86, it really equals 96. And you know what? Just for the sake of argument, we can do this in real time if you want. Just so that you can know that I'm communicating to you the honest value of what I do relative to damage when it comes to walls. 3,840 damage per bomb on wall. Okay? So with that said, suppose I upgrade my bombs, go to my lab, that is max level, I'm going to get another 17 damage. So 86 plus 17, go back to my notepad, is 103 times 40, which is 4,120 damage. This is just a cusp over 2 bombs required to breach level 13 walls. When you factor in upgrading my bombs to level 9 with the bomb monument right here that I highlighted, and you have 86 plus 17 plus 10 maxed out, that's 113 damage times 40, which equals 4,520 damage, which reduces the number of bombs required to breach to under 2. This is huge. This is absolutely huge, because now you can reduce your bomber footprint by at least 20%, and that could equate to the difference between 2 stars and 3s. There's a lot that you can do with that extra amount of space that would otherwise be required to breach 2 and 3 layers if you place your bombs strategically. So what I'm trying to say overall is that the upgrade in terms of the HP from level 12 walls to level 13 walls is completely superseded by the fact that the damage from level 8 bombs to level 9 bombs, coupled with the potential of a max level silver monument of attack that increases base damage of bomber damage to the walls, means that this is a huge nerf for those that are willing to invest the gold that they have to upgrade their walls from 12 to 13. This should be at the absolute bottom of your priority, period, end of story. If you have nothing else to spend your gold on, to include heroes upgrading, to include defensive structures, even if it's mortars, which I think is completely, utterly worthless, you really should strongly consider leaving the upgrade of walls from level 12 to 13 to the absolute last. Because I think it's a complete waste of time. It's a complete waste of gold, and you are not going to get any ROI on investing in your walls from 12 to 13 based on the statistical measure of the damage done from bombs level 8 to 9, unless Jungle Heat or My.com for that matter makes a conscious decision to nerf that. Okay? So, since you've probably had an opportunity to look at my notes, let's talk about the oil rigs and the gold mines. So, most people have level 12 oil rigs. They might have level 13 by the time that they get to view this, but take into consideration 960. This is based on buffs from building HP increased by 10% times 2, which is actually 20% because I've got my defensive monuments out, and I can prove it to you here real quick. We go here, upgrade, and we show, oh, actually it doesn't really display. But that said, if you were to upgrade from where I was at level 12 to 13, I would get 1,000. You would take 1,000, multiply that by 1.2, because I would have 2 augmentations from my defensive monuments. I'll just go ahead and hover it as show of proof. So this one is going to increase the health of all buildings by 10%. And then of course this one's going to do the same for not only the health of the buildings, but also the walls. So you're going to take 1,000 times 1.2, which equals 20%, is 1,200 HP for oil rigs and gold mines, and that will allow these structures to survive a max level nuke, which is 1,125, give or take. And I only mention that because that can be used to disrupt the flow of the troops for opponents that deploy them. A lot of times they try to go and attack you straight on, and then they're surprised to find that the majority of troops are proximity-based aggro. So if you don't know what proximity-based aggro is, go ahead and look at my channel. I explain it. It's all cool, whatever, and I won't judge. But that's the reason why that it's of relative significance from upgrading your CC from 11 to 12, is that you have the opportunity to upgrade structures that will survive max level nuke, at least relative to Clan Wars. So let me go back to my notes here. So yeah, tech support says that you can't stack monuments, at least bronze, silver, gold. Kulz says you're full of crap, even though I say shit, whatever. And I have the Clan War replays to prove this. So whatever, their tech support, they're a bunch of minimum wagers that don't know the game, that don't play the game, that don't understand the game. And I've earned a substantial amount of money by calling them out on this, and so I'm not going to disclose it, but and neither will they, because they're quite frankly they're embarrassed by it. But anyone who knows me knows that I've called them out on this, and it's been an ongoing battle. So upgrade your mines and rigs. Don't do it immediately. There's more to follow. This is a lesser priority, but it will help you in Clan Wars. So let's talk about Vortex, right? So Vortex, obviously, in your special forces, you'll notice, oh my god, the health is less, boo, whatever, and their damage is awful too compared to where it was, boo, right? So, but take a look at what it really means. The housing has also been decreased, which is awesome. So what we need to assess is the health and the damage decrease, is it offset by the housing decrease, which is colloquially known as an increase, because you can squeeze another third more vortexes than what you previously have been able to. So the HP has been reduced by 12.9%, which I've computed, including buffs. The damage has been reduced by almost 30%, which really sucks. And that includes non-existent buffs, because no one here in their right mind ever buffs damage. They only ever buff HP. Maybe that'll change. I have no compelling evidence to suggest why anyone should opt to buff the damage over HP, but if somebody offers a video, I will link it, I will cite it, and I will play along with it. So the space reduction of 1/3, 33.33 repeating, of course. For those of you who know what reference I'm making to, kudos to you, 100 internet points. But that basically means that if you were to reduce the space by 1/3, then the total pre-vortex HP, this is factoring in those that you can request from clanmates to donate you a vortex, means that your total health amongst all vortex is 55,800. Okay, and the total pre-vortex damage amongst all those vortex, 9 to be specific, is 2,466. So if you take into consideration the decrease in HP and the decrease in damage, and then you couple that with the reduction in space, and take into consideration that the post-vortex HP means that if you max out your rally points, which is 280 by the way, and divide that by 20, and then couple that with the additional request amongst those clanmates that can donate you a vortex, means that the total HP is 81,000, and that the post-vortex damage is 2,910. This is a huge buff. This is an absolutely huge buff, which means they basically buffed one of the most powerful units used for clan wars. And I mean, unless he failed first grade math, although it sucks that they don't hit as hard and their HP isn't as much, you should still be able to take down these bases with relative ease. And the only thing that I can offer is my own personal testimony of a recent clan war that I participated in, where I took down a base that had max level walls, max level heroes, max level everything. And I did this pre CC12 with 9 Vortex and a strategic combination of a Colossus and other units. But then when I faced the exact same opponent, because the Clan Wars queuing algorithm from my.com really sucks, I found it to be significantly easier to do it with 14 vortexes. Well, I guess 13 and a Colossus at the time because my rally points aren't maxed out. But I found it to be significantly easier than when I went up against a guy pre CC12. So what I'm trying to tell you is basically Vortex, they were extremely buffed. Even if you guys want to piss and groan and gripe and complain about their HP and their damage, you have the reduction in space, and that more than offsets the capability of what they can do in clan wars or skirmishes or just farming in general. So don't cry, because your tears will fall on deaf ears at that point. So let's go to Colossus. This is number 4 here. Use 1. This is a clan war strategy. Use 1, no more than 2 at all, ever. And let me tell you why. I don't know. Their HP was buffed significantly. You could probably get almost 12,000 HP off of Colossus. I don't know. I haven't tested it. I don't care. And not only that, by the way, Colossus, they can be buffed, by the way. I think we upgraded them from level 2 to level 3. So if I go to my little research center here, not this guy, where's the other one? Here it is. Oh, funny, I happen to be upgrading mine from level 2 to 3. Oh, crap. Oh, wait, good, I can actually pull it up. So their health is going to go to 8,000. So 8,000, hold on, we'll do a little quick instantaneous math. 8,000, right, times 1.3, because you can do, 1.35, because it's the clan enhancement plus what you can do with your troops, right, equals over 10,800. Oh, and by the way, the ions no longer do the same damage as, well, they never did to Colossus, which means you can effectively have one Colossus soaking a ton of damage the entire time, even between 2 ions, which you can take out with a nuke and airstrikes and all that crap. Colossus basically going to be, you can use 1, 2 at most. They kept the housing space the same, but if you have a troop that's sitting here taking damage with ZFG 0 F word giving, right, or IDGAF, like, oh hey, deploy the Colossus IDGAF, I don't give a F word, whatever. You don't have to worry about having any of your Vortex troops soak any damage. Oh, and by the way, ions no longer do extra damage to Vortex. Imagine that. So ions get nerfed. The HP of Colossus gets buffed. The algorithm of Jungle Heat, to my knowledge, has been unchanged. So while their damage has been nerfed to insignificance, you use 1 Colossus, maybe 2 at most, just to soak damage to preserve your Colossus that have already been buffed and can do insane damage. And that's it. GG, good game, 3 stars, whatever, who cares, right? So The bottom line, number 5, and I point this out, all bases should be 3-starable. Although the claim is too early to tell, if I come across a base that I can't 3-star, I'll eat crow, and I'll admit to it. I'll even make a video. I'll even explain what I did wrong, and I will advise you on what not to do to replicate the mistakes that I made. But from my position, from what I see as far as the game, I do believe that most, if not all, bases are 3-starable. I think that I would be able to in the crappy situation that I am with my bases. And if you guys doubt me, I mean, take a look at my heroes. They're absolutely abhorrent. They're the mid to upper teens. I mean, I have no hero over level 20, but combined with the buffs to the vortex, as well as the colossus, I'll take a rain check in case anyone wants to call me out on it, and I'll challenge them, and that's fine. But I do think that combined with nuke and airstrikes and the buffs to the recent units, that everyone should be able to 3-star their opponent, assuming reasonable monuments and decent troops and heroes of at least a reasonable level above 10. I don't know. I could be wrong, but I kind of put the disclaimer down here at 5A. Requires max nuke, troops, non-idiocy on attacks, decent monuments, blah, blah, blah. Even marginal luck. Sometimes you go up against guys that just decide to put all their key structures towards one another. But at any rate, I'm going to put this out there. This is Kulz. Appreciate you watching. I'm open to constructive criticism. Call me out. Cite me if I'm wrong. I will absolutely give credit to you, whoever it is that rectifies the numbers, because this game's evolving. It's kind of an ebb and flow. It's kind of a fluid document, if you will. So let's roll with that. Let's have fun, and we'll see what come whatever may. We get this little observatory down here, and it has not been released yet. So I'm very curious to see what this new special defensive monument is. It has something to do with stunning the attacking person that's going to bring all kinds of awfulness to your base. So the measure of effectiveness is yet to be known, but we'll find out in the near future. So with that, I'm going to close this video, and we'll talk to you guys later. Take care.